Borwa Boye, if I told you that to have good health, you have to be a doctor, you wouldn't believe me. Likewise, if I tell you that to have knowledge of your destiny, to fulfill your destiny, you have to be initiated, you should feel that's equally ridiculous. Because, in the exact same way that health is a byproduct of your lifestyle, knowing your destiny is the byproduct or the result of self discovery. Neither one of those is an isolated event. Neither one of those can be reduced to a single ritual or a single ceremony or a single conversation, even with the most knowledgeable and wise priest. You cannot discern and conclude on matters such as destiny in one discrete moment. Okay? In other words, it's a process. It has phases and steps and chapters, and it unfolds gradually over time and just cannot be reduced to a single event. This is the School of Orisha Studies, and I am your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. Today's lesson is all about the process of becoming one's self. Okay? When I was introduced to Orisha lifestyle, I was given certain insights through dreams. There were things that I made contact with in my dreams. And my dreams showed me things that had to do with my ancestry, with my ancestral memory, with my ancestral promise. And they gave it to me in a way that was irresistible. I had to pay attention to it, even though I couldn't discern what the meaning of the dreams was. But over time, I got a better understanding because of my, continued exploration and study of the practice. And so one thing that I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt is that my family has been dedicated to the craft for generations, right? Particularly on my mother's side, we can see there are multiple conjure men or two-headed men or what else do they call them? Root workers, right? They're there. Then this is their profession. This is what they dedicate themselves to, and they're very good at it, and they're known for being good at it, and it's something that has been passed down in one way or another over the generations. And I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt that they'd never heard the word Orisha. I'm certain they never heard the word Orisha. I'm certain that they never spoke of Osayin, even though they knew about roots. They never spoke of Ogun, even though they knew about metal and wood cutting and things like that. It's something that has been passed on as a legacy, as a practice, as a way of life, and people were able to respond to an impulse without being able to articulate the formal way of venerating the divinities who govern certain kinds of crafts and activities. That doesn't make it any less real. It doesn't make it any less valid. It just makes it a part of my own story. And it's, a lot of people's story, particularly here in the United States. And so to be able to recognize that kind of a spiritual inheritance and contextualize it for my own personal practice to say that, okay, now this is how I'm going to interpret it, and this is what it's going to mean to me, and this is how I'm going to walk that walk, is something that I have had to discover, okay? And it's something that I have had to implement and apply to my condition right here, right now. Nobody has explained to me, Obafemi, now that you're initiated and your Odu is XYZ, this is what you should do first, this is what you should do second, this is what you should do third in order for you to fulfill your destiny. It hasn't been given to me that way. Now, if it's been given to a lot of other people that way, and then, I stand corrected. But I don't know anybody who has sat down and they said, you need to be initiated to this. And then once they were initiated, said, okay, now you're initiated to this, and your Odu is that. So that means that this is the sequence of events that you need to do in order to fulfill your destiny. I have never heard a story such as that. Never. In the decades that I've been involved with Orisha lifestyle, I have never heard anyone have their life explained and given a blueprint and a map and a sequence of events that they should carry out in order to fulfill their destiny. I've never heard of it. Okay. Now, if that's your story, I would love to hear it. I'd love to interview you. I'd love to get all the details on how it was laid out, because it could very well be a workable blueprint for lots and lots of other people. My experience has been more that people are told a variety of different times in a variety of different ways, you need to be initiated to know your destiny. You need to, your Odu will tell you what your destiny is. And you have this Orisha or that Orisha, and it'll help you fulfill your destiny. But that's it. Okay? The details are never really filled in. And that isn't necessarily a shortcoming of the people who are initiating you or the people who are, doing divinations for you. It's not so much a critique of them as much as it is a necessity for you, the practitioner, the seeker, especially African Americans, for you to be very clear about what your expectations are, how this is going to unfold, what is going to be required of you in order to fulfill your destiny through Orisha lifestyle. It's not going to be a data dump that someone's just going to open you up and then boom, download a program like the Matrix, right? I think a lot of people think it's like the Matrix. You're going to go in and you're going to be on the ship Zion, and then they're going to just start uploading programs, right? You're going to go there and wake up and like, man, I can do kung fu, I can cook curry goat, I can recite the 256 Odu, I know every single ritual, and I can prepare all the medicines. I think people expect something like that, and I'm happy to bust your bubble. It's not like that, okay? So what you got to get real clear about is, what is it that you're going to do? What is your intention? Okay, what is your intention? So if we go back to the analogy of having good health, if you want to be a doctor, do you want to be a doctor or do you want to have good health? Which one is it? If you want to be a doctor, then that's great. That's one thing. All right, I want to be a doctor. What kind of doctor do you want to be? How do you want to practice medicine? Is it pediatrics? Is it geriatrics? Is it OBGYN? What is it? What kind of medicine do you want to practice? You want to be a general physician? You want to be a medical researcher? What kind of doctor do you really want to be? Let's get clear about that if you want to be a doctor. If you want to have good health, that's something totally different. Okay, if you know you want to have good health, let's focus on helping you achieve good health. Because being a doctor doesn't mean you're going to have good health, right? Likewise, when it comes to your spiritual development, what is it that you want to accomplish? Let's just get real clear. Let's zero in on how you really want to show up, okay? And that's a question that is not necessarily so straightforward when it comes to your spirituality, because it has so much to do with your ancestry. It has a lot to do with you being able to go back and do some reflecting and introspecting on what your legacy is, what your spiritual inheritance is, and accepting that and being able to cultivate that and turn it into something that you can make use of where you are right now. But you've got to be clear about what you want to do. Is that what you're aspiring to? When you think about having a healthy spiritual life, having a very vibrant and complete spiritual walk, what are you talking about? What are you expecting? What are you hoping to? What are you aspiring to? We need to get clear about that. And that's a process, folks. Okay, you can't just jump into it. You know the story of the goose that laid the golden eggs? This is like a European folktale, maybe British, I'm going to assume it's English, but I don't know. But anyway, the story of the goose that laid the golden eggs is that there's a farmer. He goes out and he's in the barn and he checks the goose, and on this particular day, the goose has laid a golden egg. Wow. Suddenly, the farmer is rich, right? He takes the egg in He's all excited and he's thinking about what he's going to do with his newfound riches. The next day, he goes back out, checks the goose. He found another golden egg. He repeats this process and he's thinking about what will happen, right? With 3 eggs, I'm like the richest man in the kingdom. By the time I get to 100 eggs, I'll be richer than the king. Within a year, 365 eggs, man, I'll be richer than any king, right? So he starts getting ahead of himself and he's thinking about what these eggs can do for him. And what does he do? He goes out there, he grabs the goose, he kills it, and tries to go in there and get the eggs. But what did he find once he killed the goose? He found nothing. He found that he had then killed the actual source of his wealth and prosperity because he became impatient, right? He put his false expectations ahead of the reality of the process. Okay? So a lot of people are replicating that process. You're replicating that mistake. You're ignoring the process. You're overlooking the process. You're denying that there is a process because you just want to get those eggs. And it doesn't work like that. So slow down. Get clear about what your true objective is and take the necessary steps to achieve that outcome according to your legacy, according to your ancestral promise, according to the destiny that you chose in the prenatal state. Aboru aboye, aboshishe.